Claret's up there as a wideout too. The ball goes into the end zone, and it is incomplete. Intended for Gamble. Now there is a penalty flag thrown.
Hold on.
Hold the phone. Everybody comes running down on the field. You got to get off because there's a penalty flag thrown, and I think it's against Miami.
Hold up. How in the world did we get here? And what the hell was that call? And what game is this? This was the 2002 National Championship between the #1 Miami Hurricanes and the #2 Ohio State Buckeyes. This was one of the most anticipated national championship games of all time. Two storied programs, both teams ridiculously talented, and it was about to be a classic. But first, let's see how these teams got here. Coming off of a 7-5 season in 2001, second-year head coach Jim Tressel was already familiar with winning in the state of Ohio. Before being hired as the Buckeyes head coach, he was an FCS legend. Tressel spent 14 seasons as the head coach of Youngstown State, which is just 2.5 hours away from Columbus. There, he won 4 FCS national championships. The guy was a proven winner. Going into 2002, Tressel believed he had a roster that was good enough to go undefeated, especially on defense. Mike Doss, one of the greatest safeties in college football history, was back. Matt Wilhelm also returned, one of the best tacklers in the country. Chris Gamble, who played both ways at corner and wide receiver, was back. Darian Scott was really good off the edge. This team's identity was built on this defense. As a matter of fact, they were the reason they won half of their games. In 2002, Ohio State won 6 games in the regular season by 1 possession, and all 6 of those games were low scoring. Now, that's not to say Ohio State didn't have a good offense. They did. But Tressel was an extremely conservative coach who prioritized field position, clock management, time of possession, discipline, and shutting the other team down on defense. He was basically the complete opposite of Lane Kiffin and Dan Campbell. But in all of those close games, the offense did just enough to win. A physical, efficient run game where true freshman Maurice Claret was the star. He rushed for over 1,200 yards and had elite field vision and power for a freshman. Guy was a beast and was very hard to tackle. The quarterback for the Buckeyes was Craig Krenzel, and he was the most perfect fit for Tressel's system. When the game was on the line, he never made mistakes and had plenty of big-time throws to win games. His go-to guy was Michael Jenkins, a bigger receiver at 6'4", 215 pounds, who was elite in one-on-ones, a very physical route runner who Krenzel could always count on. Sitting at 12-0, the #2 ranked Buckeyes hosted none other than Michigan for the final game of the regular season. It was a hard-nosed football game, but the game was played just how Tressel and Ohio State wanted it to be played. Slow and physical. Down 9-7 in the 4th on an option, Krenzel's going to pitch it to the backup running back Maurice Hall, and he's into the end zone. That will give Ohio State the lead. Michigan with a chance to win it on the last drive, but that is intercepted at the goal line by Will Allen. And Ohio State is headed to the national championship. Their 6th one-possession win of the season. This team just knows how to win. A big-time game for Claret. 119 yards off 20 carries. Consistent, tough yards that really helped control the clock and field position. A 13-0 regular season for the Buckeyes. There was no Big Ten championship game at the time, so they had over a month to prepare for the national championship, and it would be their toughest opponent yet. Fresh off of a national championship in 2001, Miami came into the 2002 season ranked #1, and most media outlets picked the Hurricanes to repeat as national champions. Even though Miami lost a ton of players after 2001 to the NFL draft, they were still by far the most talented team in the country. The 2001 Canes are argued as being one of the greatest college football teams of all time, and rightfully so. They obliterated everybody and honestly looked like an NFL team. But the 2002 squad had plenty of 2001 returners. Offensively, Ken Dorsey returned as the starting quarterback, a senior who had a really good arm, great decision-making, and broke pretty much every Miami quarterback record. His running back would be Willis McGahee, a freaking beast who was a power back and a speed back at the same time. He could plow through linebackers but could break free in the open field and go for long runs at the same time. He ran for over 1,700 yards and scored 28 touchdowns. 28! Dorsey had plenty of weapons to get the ball to. Roscoe Parrish, a freshman who was really fast. Andre Johnson, don't think I need to go into much detail with this one. The guy's literally in the damn Hall of Fame. Kellen Winslow at tight end, and yes, although he is a terrible person off the field, the guy was a beast on the field and was an All-American, hauling in 57 catches for 726 yards and 8 touchdowns. Defensively, the Canes were basically a damn NFL team. Big Vince Wilfork at defensive tackle had 43 tackles and 7 sacks in 2002. He was pretty much unblockable, always making plays. Right beside him on the defensive line was William Joseph, an All-American who was really good at stopping the run. Jerome McDougal was probably the best edge rusher in the country, 16 tackles for loss, 7 sacks. All 3 of those guys would end up being drafted in the first round. At linebacker, 2 future first-round draft picks, Jonathan Vilma and DJ Williams. Vilma was the mic and had one of the best football IQs of any linebacker in the country. Williams was the sideline-to-sideline linebacker, very fast for his size. Now into the secondary, and replacing Ed Reed at safety was Sean Taylor, may God rest his soul. One of the greatest safeties in college football history, Taylor had great size, a great skill set, and had NFL scouts salivating. He had the hit stick, he could stop the run like a linebacker, get to the quarterback like an edge rusher, and was a lockdown safety who did not let anything get past him, hence why he ended up being drafted 5th overall. Antrell Roll at corner, one of the best one-on-one defenders in the country, and of course, a future first-round draft pick. And at head coach was Larry Coker, who was entering his 2nd season as the head coach, but his 8th season overall at Miami, as he was the offensive coordinator for 6 seasons. So with all that talent and a team that had already won a national championship, how in the world were you supposed to beat this team? Well, that's a question that went unanswered for a long time, because in 2002, Miami destroyed everybody. Actually, besides Florida State, they missed a field goal to lose the game for like the 80th time. Seriously though, if you're Florida State, how do you lose a rivalry game the same exact way so many different times? Absolutely ridiculous. The Hurricanes coasted to a 12-0 regular season, and the stage was set. #1 Miami versus #2 Ohio State in Arizona for the national championship. And Vegas did not give Ohio State a chance. Miami favored by 11.5. Miami's first possession of the game, and Ohio State took that Vegas line personally. Dorsey getting sacked twice. The Buckeyes are here to play. But the Canes weren't letting the Buckeyes have it either. We knew from the get-go this was going to be a defensive game. Ohio State bringing the pressure. Dorsey avoids it. He's going to find Parrish over the middle. That's caught. That's a touchdown. Miami's on the board first. Next possession for Ohio State, Krenzel pressured. He's going to heave it deep into double coverage, and that ball is tipped and intercepted by Sean Taylor. Rough start for Ohio State offensively. Miami is suffocating Claret in the first quarter. Late in the second quarter, still 7-0. Dorsey looks downfield. That ball is in the air and intercepted by Mike Doss. He's still on his feet, makes a man miss. Doss inside the 25, and he's going down inside the 15. That's the momentum spark the Buckeyes needed. 4th and goal at the 1. Krenzel's going to sneak it off the right side, and he is in, and we are tied. Dorsey looking to make something happen before halftime, and there's big Kenny Peterson. That ball is out and recovered by Ohio State at the Miami 15. What a disaster for the Canes. Got to make the most of this opportunity. Claret gets the handoff, and look at that hole from the offensive line. Touchdown, Ohio State leads. Buckeyes lead 14-7 going into the locker room. A very physical game. Jim Tressel is winning the battle of field position just like he always wants. Out of the locker room, Krenzel feeling ballsy. He's going to take a deep shot, and he's got Gamble. It is caught, and he's going down at the 6. Buckeyes threatening. Krenzel's going to go for the end zone, and that is intercepted by Sean Taylor again. Taking this one out, he's got some space. And oh my goodness gracious. Did we just see what we think we just saw? Hold on, bro. Run that back. Because there's no way Maurice Claret just took the ball out of Sean Taylor's hands. Oh, wait. That is exactly what happened. One of the most heads-up plays in not only college football history, in sports history. There was nothing fancy about it. He just simply took the ball. Ohio State keeps possession, and Mike Nugent drains this field goal, and the Buckeyes lead by 10. It has been an absolute defensive masterclass from Ohio State so far. Miami cannot get anything going. But that's not going to last the entire game. Miami is eventually going to find a rhythm on offense. McGahee is making stuff happen on the ground, and Dorsey and Winslow are starting to figure out Ohio State's coverage schemes. 1st and goal, handoff to McGahee up the middle. He's going to break this one outside, get to the edge. He is too fast for Ohio State to catch him. McGahee is going to score, and Miami cuts it to 3. Next drive for Miami, McGahee is going to take a screen, and he is going to get his knee drilled. This was unfortunately a very serious injury. McGahee tore 3 ligaments in his knee. Just absolutely devastating, and the timing of this is terrible. In the national championship in the 4th quarter, when McGahee is starting to get hot, it could not have come at a worse time. On the same drive, Todd Severs is going to try a long 54-yarder, and it is no good. Ohio State with the ball, slow, methodical drive. They are chewing off every second they possibly can. A chip shot field goal for Nugent, and that one is no good. Dorsey looking to make something happen. He's going to find Parrish over the middle, and he fumbles it. Another turnover for Miami. That has been the story of the night so far. Krenzel rolling out, looking to complete it on 3rd down, and it is incomplete. Miami is getting the ball back. And back deep to return is Parrish, who just fumbled. He's got an opportunity to make up for it right here. He's going to catch some blocks, make a man miss. Down the sideline, Parrish with the biggest play of the night so far for Miami. 3rd and 14 will not convert for Miami, and this is going to come down to a field goal. From 40 yards out, Severs' kick is up, and it is just going to get inside the uprights. We're going to overtime. First possession of overtime, Dorsey to the end zone, and that is caught by Winslow. Miami leads. Ohio State looking to respond. Krenzel back to pass. He feels the pressure, and he's going down. 4th and 14, the game comes down to this. Krenzel looking for somebody, and he's going to find Jenkins. He stays in bounds. Ohio State is still alive. 3rd and 3, Krenzel looking for somebody. No one's open. He's going to go to the end zone, and it's incomplete. 4th and 3, this is it with a stop. Miami wins. Krenzel to the end zone looking for Gamble. Incomplete. Miami has won the national championship. Back-to-back titles for the Canes. Krenzel looks absolutely devastated, but hold on. Something isn't right. Is that a flag in the end zone? Oh my God! Miami's entire team is on the field celebrating, but the game is not over. It is a pass interference on Miami in the end zone, and let's take another look at this. This was the most controversial call in the history of college football. It has been talked about for literal decades. I will give you guys my thoughts on the call after the game. With the call, the drive is still alive, and Krenzel's going to sneak it off the right side, and we're going to double overtime. Buckeyes get the ball first. Clarett gets the handoff, breaks one tackle, dives into the end zone. Ohio State leads. Miami has to score a touchdown when they get the ball. Canes with the ball, and Wilhelm absolutely drills Dorsey. My God. Do or die for the Canes, but on 4th down, Dorsey is going to connect with Winslow. 1st down. And a face mask at the end of the play. 1st and goal. Dorsey drops back to pass. He's going to look for Andre Johnson, and that is pass interference. Miami will get the ball at the 2. 1st and goal, handoff to McGahee's backup, Peyton, and he is short. 2nd and goal, play action, Dorsey. He's got Winston in the end zone, and Dorsey missed him. 3rd and goal from the 1, and it's going to be a fullback dive, and he did not get in. It all comes down to this. 4th and goal from the 1. Dorsey under center. He's looking back. There's pressure off the edge. Dorsey to the end zone. It is incomplete. And this time, there are no flags. Ohio State has won the national championship. They were 11.5-point underdogs, but Trestle Ball reigns supreme. But all anyone could talk about was the flag. The game was over. Miami had gone back-to-back and won the 2002 national championship. At least that was reality for a few seconds. Now, here are my thoughts on the pass interference. Was it pass interference? Was it not pass interference? And honestly, I have no idea. Ohio State fans swear it was pass interference. Miami fans swear it was clean. But here's the thing. This is not the reason why Miami lost the game. Using a penalty as an excuse as to why your team lost is such a loser mentality. I'm sorry, it just is. The reason why you lost Miami was because of the million turnovers you committed. The reason why you lost Miami was having the ball at the 1-yard line in double overtime and not scoring. The reason why you lost Miami was because you let Michael Jenkins get open on the 4th down before the 4th down where the pass interference was called. The only valid excuse Miami had was Willis McGahee getting hurt. And it probably sounds like I hate Miami, but I promise I don't. I'm an Auburn fan, and I had to watch us lose in the Final Four after a double dribble was not called. But that's not why we lost. We played terrible the first 15 minutes of the second half. Virginia was kicking our ass. The point is, instead of blaming the refs, sometimes you got to take accountability. The direction that these two programs went after this game was pretty symbolic of the call. Ohio State continued to be a powerhouse under Tressel, making 2 more national championships under him, while the Miami program just completely went off the rails. Larry Coker ended up losing the locker room and the team in the mid-2000s. Once the core early 2000s squad went off to the NFL, Miami was a disaster on and off the field. It took Miami over 20 years to finally get back to being the U. At the timing of making this video, Mario Cristobal has Miami playing for the national championship this upcoming Monday against Indiana. And in this run to the national championship game, the Hurricanes have been putting away some demons. In the college football playoff quarterfinal, the Hurricanes defeated Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl, and just like Miami was in 2002, Ohio State came into the game as defending national champions. Then the next week, the Canes went back to the Fiesta Bowl for the first time since the national championship against Ohio State and defeated Ole Miss in a bowl game that was once associated with terror, is now associated with redemption for Miami. But that's going to do it for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Tell me if you think it was pass interference or not. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.